Hey folks, I'm Fran Horvath here with Sue Bell, the CEO of Network Empire, and we have a really important discussion for you today. Probably the number one topic that people, or the number one question that we get from new people coming into Network Empire, and it was prompted by the folks that just finished up the CLC1 training with Matt. What do you do next? Where do you go from here? What's the next course should I take? What do I need for this course? So all the questions about, the trainings, the processes, and we wanted to get out just a really easy to understand explanation of Network Empire and our systematic process. The training and tools are not random. They're specific, and they're a holistic approach, as Sue just put up on the screen for us. So Sue, welcome, and I know this is a really, really hot topic for folks, and it's going to help answer a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think this is a really great idea because it's something that we haven't gone over in quite a while, and our system has definitely evolved since the last time that Russ and I talked about it, and it's not quite as chaotic as what's up there on the screen, although it might appear to be that chaotic.
Everything really does fit together, but it's just understanding how and where you belong.
Exactly. So let's start with the Webring system. So this was our idea back many, many years ago, 5 or 6 years ago at this point, to have this kind of a diagram so that we could put everything on the map and you could see how everything all fits together. Because I think one of the most confusing things that is out there in internet land is, I've got 5,432 different social platforms, and there's all of these different ways that I can use them, and then there's my money site, and then there's my blog, and then there's and how do I create an online marketing plan that makes sense, and then how do I implement it? And then you come into Network Empire and we've got all this different training, we've got all these different tools, and how does all that fit into this paradigm?
Yeah. Well, and I was just going to say that the products and the training and the tools that are coming from every direction, and that's why I think it's so important to understand that this stuff that Network Empire is doing is not random. There's not just a course thrown up there just for fun because we think it's an interesting concept, right? So there's a systematic approach to all of it.
Exactly.
Reason for it.
So let's start with a description of what the ring system is, and then we can talk about we'll start with the training and how that fits into the ring system. So the WR1 site, these are your branded sites. These are domains that you own, so you can't lose them. They can't go out of business and be gone. So you've got like your money site, you might have a wiki, you might have a forum or some other kind of social integrated platform. You've usually got a blog, and there might be other things depending on what it is you're doing, an e-commerce site or maybe your own authority site. Could be a wealth of different domains that you own and operate for any one particular market or enterprise, and those are all the things that we consider your WR1. If it's branded, then it's in your WR1 ring. And then the social platforms that sit around that property, in other words, the social platforms where you have an account that is also branded. You've got your logo up there, you've got your colors up there, you blog about the stuff that is germane to your money site. Those are the things that we call your WRS1. The next ring out is the WR2. These are also domains that you own, but they're not branded. So there could be a whole host of reasons why you have domains that you own that aren't branded. They could be things like PBNs. They could be things that you're using to drive traffic for whatever reason, but you just don't have your brand on it. So it might be that it's a standalone brand, or that it's there's just we'll get a little bit further into that as we go down through the training stuff. But there's a whole bunch of different things that you could have on your WR2, and the thing that you want to know there is that those simply are things, they drive traffic directly to your money site, but they're not branded with the same brand. So then your WRS2, those are, they typically are social properties that are germane to your WR2, and that's one of the things that sets us apart from PBNs. PBNs are typically standalone sites, and they don't have any kind of social media associated with them, whereas our version of a PBN has an entire entity, an entire cluster around it. So it's got 3 or 4 social platforms that cluster around each one of our WR2 sites. And we use personas and... What's that?
Kind of it looks like a natural site that way, like a real social site, a real business might be referring to your WR1 kind of thing.
Exactly, either a business or a real person, because today anybody who's got a blog, they've usually got also a Twitter account or a Facebook account or a Pinterest account. Depends on what it is that they're into. So exactly. And then also what comes into play in the WRS2 would be anything that, again, that's not branded, that's on a third-party platform that's either got links into your money site or it's driving traffic into your money site. So then the WR3, we really only use the WR3 to make sure that our WR2 stuff gets indexed. So we've got a blog, typically just one blog that sits out here on the WR3. If it's a huge topic, if it's like, you know, Amazon, then we would have more than just one blog out here to make sure that everything gets indexed, because the sheer quantity of stuff that you've got going on in the WR1 is going to require a whole bunch of different things going on. So it depends on the size of the enterprise in the WR1, but typically you can get away with just 1 or 2 websites out here in the WR3. And then you've got a social ring around the outside of that, which may or may not get used. Oftentimes we just use things like Social Explosion as our WRS3. And again, that's just to make sure that everything is getting indexed, all of your backlinks are getting found, and that everything is running the way that it's supposed to be running. So that's the ring system. That's what it boils down to.
Okay, and before you move on from the ring system, on the WR2, since you mentioned the WR3 is usually just 1 or 2 properties, how do you determine the size of the WR2, I guess, real estate?
I would say that for most things that people are going to be involved in, it would just be 2 to 4 sites. Like you'd probably have a pin vid for most nearly anything, except for small local things. And if it's a little bit larger, you might have one of the RSS sites as well as a pin vid. It just depends on, when you look at how competitive your competitors are, when you look at what it is that they're doing, like how big of a social splash are they doing, and how many inbound links and what kind of quality, then you get an idea as to how many domains you actually need, how many silos do you have, how many disparate topics do those silos cover. So in other words, if all of your silos are more or less related, if you're into cosmetic dentistry, then all of your silos are going to be about dentistry, right? So then, yeah, one site on your WR2, one good pin vid will bring you all the traffic that you need. If you have a bunch of different topics, if you've got some kind of a directory, a service directory going on, and you've got 6 or 7 radically different services on your service directory, then you might want 6 or 7 different sites in your WR2, one that's germane to each one of those topics. So that's kind of how I go about it. I'm looking for each one of my WR2s to be more specific about a topic. So if you look at Network Empire, for example, we talk about online marketing, we talk about agencies, we talk about keyword tools. We cover quite a large number of different topics, and where we could run that all through 1 or 2 different pinvid sites, the more specific a site is, the better the rankings are going to be. So we tend to break that out into 4 or 5 different sites.
Perfect. That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Sure. So now let's talk about our training and how which course gets into which aspect of the ring system. So first of all, we've got CLC 1, and this is the foundation course. Matt spends a lot of time helping you understand the pain in your marketplace and how to figure out who your ideal clients are or prospects and what kinds of things it is that they're looking for. And that's how you build up everything. The entire ring system is built on those pains. Those pains combined with how your product or service uniquely solves those pains, what sets you apart from your competitors, are the core concepts that you're going to use over and over again like waves all the way out through all of these media channels. So every time you create a piece of content here in the WR1 that talks about that, it gets iterated and reiterated and curated and replicated throughout the entire internet with the idea that each iteration is spawned from one of the rings in this system. So if you gloss over the ISDNA, if you gloss over really understanding what your pains are, you run a risk of not having keywords that are going to convert as high as they could. So by understanding those pains, you understand which keywords it is that you need, you understand how to write the content, the painkiller content, like everything just starts to stack on top of that. So this course is crucial. It's also why we have niche domination inside the members area, which cover the same concepts, but it doesn't have the coaching aspect to it. And I know the guys that go through this course, they rave about the light bulbs that go on in terms of understanding not only how they need to build out their site, but how they need to build out their entire empire.
Yeah, there were a lot of experienced marketers just recently in this past live training that said that CLC1 changed their business.
Yep, exactly.
Because of that core concept specifically, and of course Matt's one-on-one help.
Yep. And that's also why we have the ISDNA core concepts in a lot of our training. We've got it in the AT5 course, we've got it in the MDM, the $1 million business courses, because it just needs to be a core concept under whatever circumstances you're building your money site. So from there, we also get into the basic setup of your social platforms in the CLC1 course. So that you've got a complete foundation by the time you're done with that. For small businesses, they just need CLC1 and they can go off and do their thing. For businesses that are looking to take their online presence to the next level, we've got CLC2, which talks about traffic generation, and this builds on top of the things that you learn in CLC1. If you have any website, you can still come in and take CLC2 and you can use everything that you learn in CLC2 to apply to your website. It doesn't have to be a siloed website. You don't have to go through the ISDNA in order for CLC2 to make a huge impact on your website. It's just if you start with a solid foundation, your results will be better.
So is that necessarily saying it's got to be your website?
Well, I don't know why you would build the traffic for somebody else.
Yes, I'm thinking of something like an affiliate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can, if I were going to be an affiliate marketer, I would still start with CLC1 because that site that I'm building would be, even so I'm going to recommend affiliate products. If I just build traffic and send it to somebody else's website, I'm cheating myself. Because if instead of just sending that traffic away, I actually collect that traffic in a list, I can sell to that list a dozen times over, 24 times over. I can make 30 times the amount of money off that one list than I could just sending it to a single affiliate.
Great.
But if you're just looking for traffic methodologies to to send off to affiliates, absolutely. CLC2 can take you in that direction, and CLC3 can also take you in that direction. CLC3, the pin vids, can generate some really great traffic for affiliates. We've got banner placed in 2 or 3 strategic locations that we get into, and building out those sites can, man, they generate a whole bunch of traffic, and there's, depending on the topic, I mean, it always depends on what the market is. Each market responds a little bit differently, but these tend to generate a lot of traffic that will click through the banner ads and go to wherever it is that you want to send them. So if you've got a ring system, typically speaking, that traffic is sent to your money site, but it most certainly doesn't have to be.
So for the pin vids, and I don't know if this is an accurate statement, but I think of them as something that you could easily use, because I do e-commerce, so you could easily use a pin vid system to send to your Shopify store or even traffic to your Amazon listing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can switch out the ads so that, you know, as your products change, you have different things that you want to promote either in Shopify or on Amazon or different affiliate products. You can go in there and just change it in one place, and it changes the banner on the entire site. So yeah, they're awesome for that. Yeah. So the next course, yeah, the other thing that I'll say about PinVids is it's also awesome for clients. You don't even have to tell the client that you're creating a PinVid site for them. You can just charge them for additional traffic, and then if that client walks, you simply redirect that traffic to somebody else.
Yeah, I love that concept.
Yeah.
It's huge for marketers. Yep. You own the asset and the traffic, and you can send it to their biggest competitor if they leave you.
Exactly. Whoever wants to pay you the highest price.
Exactly. Okay, great.
So that brings us to CLC4, which is automated content broadcasting and distribution. So this, where the PinVid is actually specifically talking about one kind of site that we have on the WR2 and the social media profiles associated with that site. CLC4 is actually talking about 2 or 3 different kinds of sites. Matt's always tweaking the sites and coming up with new ideas and variations. So this course covers a minimum of 2 different kinds of sites, and these all generate their content off of RSS feeds. PinVids generate their content off of videos, and these guys come off of RSS feeds. So this is pulling a combination of the RSS feeds from your WR1 and WRS1, as well as content from other places, other industry leaders, and just does a really great job of being really sticky. People spend a lot of time both on the PinVids and on the other sites that you learn how to make in CLC4. And again, there's the banners that you can click through to the money site. So the idea behind CLC 3s and 4s is that they do double duty. They both, the links from these guys help your money site get ranked, but they're also sending you traffic.
That's great.
So then the last CLC class we have is domain authority stacking. So domain authority stacking, its intent is just ranking. It's not about sending traffic. It's just about giving you that oomph that you need to be able to get your site ranked. And Jimmy goes into some really great detail about exactly how to set up all of the social profiles that you need and how to distribute the content and what you need to do to get the link juice that you need to be able to rank for anything up to, I would say, a medium to, yeah, at least all the way through a medium competition. So when you're looking in the new keywords tool, where we've got competitiveness labeled in there as one of the columns, and you've got easy, medium, and hard, and very hard. This would take you through medium. And the hard and the very hard would require some other. You can get into some of the harder areas with domain authority stacking, but you've got to be a little bit more seasoned. If you're a more seasoned SEO, then that would take you through the lighter side of hard.
So you're saying that with respect to that course independently, as opposed to it having stacked all of the CLC 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5.
Right. No, I'm just talking about DAS, what DAS will do for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and we didn't actually define what CLC level courses are.
Oh, these are all coaching courses. So these are certification level coaching courses. So in other words, all of these courses are pre-recorded at this point, but they also are taught at least once a year, where whoever it is that's instructing the course will go through and actually walk you through, coach you through creating the courses or creating the links or whatever that course is about. So, so for example, the next one that's coming up is the PinVid course. We're going to have that in about 30 days. And what we're going to do radically differently in this iteration is Matt's going to have a go-to meeting as opposed to a go-to webinar, so everybody can participate, and he's going to step you through the actual building. Everybody needs to have their hosting and their domain name and all of that before this particular meeting, and then everybody is going to actually build out their PinVid site so that if somebody gets stuck, you can swap the camera over to what it is that they're looking at, and he can help you through it.
Oh, wow, that's going to be excellent. This is going to be getting people through the biggest block of, the little stumbling blocks that stops people. You're just going to do it right there live.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
So those are all the CLC courses, all the coaching courses. And as I said, you don't have to wait. We teach them all at least once a year, but you don't have to wait for them to come around to the coaching courses. These are Perpetual Mastermind courses, so that means once you purchase it, you have always got access to it. We're constantly upgrading them. You get access to all the upgrades. We've had guys sit in on the ones that we've been teaching. CLC 1 is the first one we started teaching about 4 years ago. And guys just came back around either this course or the last course that we taught. We had several seasoned folks that came back to see all the new stuff that we've incorporated into the course. So if you purchase one of these classes now and it's 6 months before we actually have the coaching, you can just step into the coaching at that point.
That's great. And can you talk about the order people need to take these in? Is it a sequential? Is it, a la carte? How does it work best?
It's completely a la carte. I specifically wanted these courses designed so that if you have a pre-existing site, like you're brand new to Network Empire, you can come in here and you can say, okay, that's what I need for my site right now. I need more traffic, or I want a PinVid site, or I need some ranking like right away. Let me take the DAS course. So you can take any of these courses, you can apply it to an existing site. You don't have to start with CLC 1 and work your way all the way through.
That's great. All right, is there anything else you think folks need to know about for just the basic training pieces and how to understand, when they come into Network Empire for the first time, how do they know where they're going to fit best?
Well, it depends on what they need. We want to meet them with where they are. So if they're brand new and if they're struggling to get their first money site created, come into CLC 1. And if you've got a website and you need more traffic, then think about either CLC 2, 3, or 4, depending on how you want to work that traffic. We've got more descriptions about exactly what each one of them do on the individual sales page. If you just need rankings, go right smack into the DAS course.
Okay, that is wonderful. That really helps clear a lot of this up. So the whole systematic process is about building a sustainable, long-term business that's not going to fall apart because one piece disappears or something changes in Google.
Exactly. All of this is designed so that you can replace the different pieces. So if something goes away, we take something else and put it in its place. So if Facebook goes away tomorrow, I don't want your business to be dependent on any third-party platform, right? Everything should come from your money site, which is why the CLC1 course is so important. And because that you have complete control over. I mean, your hosting might go away, but you just pick your site up and you put it on a different hosting company and you're back in business again. But for these people that I watch some of them, and they've built an entire business on either Amazon or Facebook or something like that, and then something happens. You know, their Facebook account gets banned, they have a problem with their Amazon account, or a platform just goes completely away. They simply dissolve overnight, and tomorrow they're completely out of business. And it pains me to watch that happen to people. So I wanted to create a system that reinforces that everything is in your golden frame. Everything is on your website. You don't just go tweet about something. You blog about it first, and then you let the system tweet about the blog post.
That's the huge difference. Most people, I would have to say 95% of marketers are teaching it completely backwards.
Yes. Yes. Because they're more concerned about building the following on Twitter or building the following on Facebook. And that's all fine and good. You should have a following on those platforms, but those people should also know that you have a website. You need to funnel those people back into your website. You need to get them back on your core property. So what you put out on the third-party platforms is interesting but incomplete. So in order for somebody to get the whole story, they got to come to your website.
Perfect. All right. Is there anything else that you think we need to share at this point?
Well, there's all the AT courses. Should we go through those?
Oh, we're going to do those today? That's great.
Let's do those. Yeah. So we've got the AT.
What are the AT courses?
AT stands for Advanced Training. And the idea behind these courses is you want to have at least a fundamental understanding about how to get your business on the web. So if you're having problems getting your money site, you need to take CLC1 first. And once you've got your presence on the web, then any of the advanced training courses become viable. So we've got, I just thought about that, though. The AT5 course might be an exception to that. So AT1, you've got semantic web training, where we talk about semantic markup and schema and how all of that started and where it's at and where it's going to go. It's just a little bit dated at the moment. It's still a great foundation if you want to know the history about semantic web. But Kevin and I have been talking for the last year or so about refreshing that course or doing the follow-on course to that. So just know if you take that training, it's more of a historical course. AT2 is Traffic Hospital. This is an excellent course. This, even so this course was done a couple of years ago, everything in it is still absolutely current and up to date. If you have a problem getting ranked, if you're having a problem, if you think you've been penalized or if you know you've been penalized, this is the course for you. Jimmy walks you through every single step, what you need to do to get your site out of the sandbox and back into your ranking. It's an amazing course. And the other thing that's really cool about Traffic Hospital is he goes through all of the things that will get you penalized. And so it's also extremely helpful for when you go to build a site that you understand how not to over-optimize it from the get-go. So in other words, how to keep yourself out of penalties. So Traffic Hospital is kind of that 1-2 punch. It's not just a painkiller, it's also a vitamin.
I know a lot of the members will use that training in when they do local and helping their clients as well to build their sites out right and also to determine what's happening with their ranking.
Absolutely. We've had members who have based their entire they've actually switched their entire consulting agency from being website building to recovery. It's some very good money. It's a lot of pain, and it's very lucrative. So so the next course is AT4, which is local leads. That's in the process of being updated right now. Matt's been working on it for the last couple of months. He's got some incredibly exciting stuff coming. And that talks about not just like for a local business, like for a mom and pop local business, what they need to do, but it's quite amazing. It talks about all the different ways that you can get leads, and he even goes into phone centers and all kinds of crazy stuff that he's been hitting me up with that he wants to include in this course. It's going to be, it's juicy. It's a little bit dated right now, but the new version that's going to be out probably in about 6 weeks would be my guess. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And then last but not least, definitely not least, is the AT5 course. It's the latest course. It's in the middle of going on right this minute. We've got webinars going on about once a month for this, and we're into, I think, just the beginning of the 3rd month. And it's a 4-month course, and this goes into some things that we have nowhere else, like website design. Mike Clay has done an awesome job at covering some incredible concepts behind website design, everything from color theory to fonts to page layouts, optimization. And what I mean by optimization, I mean optimizing the page layout for conversions. So it's very rich in that regard, and all of that was sort of added after the fact. The idea behind the course originally, because it's called SEO casting, is how to create content quickly, and expert content, not just generic content, but a high level of expert content, and how to get that content syndicated, promoted, and generating backlinks from that content. So those were the 2 basic ideas, but you also get you get a beautiful website out of this. We go a little bit into we have ISDNA in here too, and we go into talking about how to use keywords to find the keywords, obviously, that you need for your silos and for your supporting articles, using Video Silo to quickly create the site. So the idea behind this is to generate an authority site very fast. So it's a fun course. It's been a lot of fun. I think there's been a lot of guys that have had some serious light bulb moments in there too.
Yeah, the way you've structured that course, I think, is so helpful for understanding the whole concept, because there's little bits and pieces of even some of the certification level training in that course, just enough what they need at that level to build out that authority site and the traffic generation.
Exactly. Yeah, it has been a lot of fun to put that course together. So that sums up all of our advanced training and coaching level courses, and how they fit into the ring system. The AT5 course is the only AT course that deals with anything other than the money site. And this course, because it's talking about casting, in other words, content casting your content out widely into the internet, we talk not only about the money site and your immediate social ring, but we also talk about ways to get it out into unbranded social platforms.
That's excellent. All right, Sue. Anything else that you wanted to share about the training tools and how folks can navigate around and how everything fits together?
Nothing that comes immediate to mind. I think that that pretty much covers the domination for the.
Yeah, the only thing that I think of, I don't know if you wanted to talk about this, but again, the live certification, and the certification is the culmination of the training. So I don't know if you wanted to just at least touch on that.
Sure. I mean, that is the pinnacle of all of our training. That's where we talk about everything. We cover many aspects in much more depth than we do in our training, in the webinar-based training, because there's just things that we can get into in CERT when you're one-on-one with people that you can't get into really over webinars. And then we also we put another layer over top of everything um, about how it all fits together. So you're basically coming in and you're getting ideas about how all of this works and how it works with the money site. But at CERT, we talk about how everything comes together to make one um, well-oiled machine that dominates.
Brilliant. And does somebody have to take all of the CLC courses first before going
It's,
to certification?
it's certainly recommended, but it's not required. I mean, you could come in, like we have the cutoff date basically of 1 January. Um, you need to either sign up for CERT by 1 January or wait until the next year. And that's so that you've got the opportunity to at least skim through the recordings of all of the courses, and you've got 3 or 4 months to kind of get that under your belt and have a working knowledge base of what's going on, at least the CLC courses. It's not so required that you have the AT courses under your belt, but you need the CLC courses. You need to have gone through a good chunk of those videos so that when you walk into the room, those ideas aren't new. Otherwise, there'll be parts that won't make sense until later when you have gone through the courses.
And it's probably a good idea to actually have your money site built because then everything can be applied immediately.
Yes, it's a really good idea. That's one of the reasons why we teach CLC 1 there in January and February, so that guys can get their money site built. And because you've got to have those ideas firmly in your head, your silos and everything, so that as we're going through the theory in that week of live CERT, you have concrete things to hang that off of, so that you're sitting there and you're translating what we're talking about into how that applies specifically to your money site.
All right, that is really, really helpful information, and hopefully, folks, if you have any questions about what we went through, please ask, because we can add it to, I think this is going to be a great resource for a long time, so if there's anything that was unclear, ask questions, and we can add it to wherever we post this this training.
Exactly.
And Sue, I appreciate it. This was really good.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Fran. I think we have one more picture of you at CERT.
I deny that leg belongs to me. The shoe maybe, not the leg. Yeah, you can look forward to this at CERT. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. All right. Hey, thank you so much, Fran.
See ya.